All right, what's up, everybody? Of course, we have another topic this week, and the topic that actually came up this week were assets. We're going to talk about assets. Me personally, I'm going to talk about assets versus liabilities. In the very simplest form, my personal opinion, an asset are things that you or your company owns that can provide you a future economic benefit. And liabilities are the complete opposite. Liabilities are what you owe other people or expenses in the simplest thing. An asset could be cash, investments, real estate, vehicles that you own, you know what I mean? Office equipment, machinery, anything that can make you liquid. In this day and time, you want to be liquid. You don't want to be tied up into so many things that you're deploying your money into that don't make you any money. So an asset is something that makes you money. It doesn't cost you any money. And personally, I think your asset, my biggest asset is my mentality. I think your mentality is your biggest asset. You know what I mean? One of them, and I think another one is your professional and your personal network, the people that you deal with and talk to on a regular basis. I think they can be your personal assets or liabilities. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, many people have like $100 million ideas, and they're confident that that product or service or innovation or their thought, will make them rich and their dreams come true. The problem is, like, most people don't know really how to turn that $1 million idea into $100 million or whatever you want it. So, like, according to this book that I'm reading that I really like, one of the most important things in a person's life is, like I said, their professional network. So the people around us, our associates, our team, our friends, the people we turn to for advice, can mean the difference between success and failure. So the people around you can be some of your biggest assets and stuff like that. As well as the people around you could also be your biggest liabilities. You know what I mean? Because we're all human. We need other people to help us, stay motivated and move forward. But the topic comes up a lot when we get to talking about assets versus liabilities. Like, a lot of people would consider their house as an asset, yet it doesn't make them any money, and they really don't know how to use that house or that property to leverage it into something more valuable than cash. So it, in turn, becomes a liability. In turn, it becomes you working 40, 50, 60 plus hours just to pay the debt based, that this home or this house is creating, your cars and stuff like that. It's depending on how you use these things, that could make them, an asset versus a liability. Like a car. A car really has no real economic value unless you're using it for, a business or something like that. You're leasing it out or you're renting it out to somebody to use during the day while you aren't using it. So that car in turn make money, and you aren't, paying all your money to um, basically pay for something that's not really benefiting you. Same with a home. Like the rental properties. The reason I really jumped and dove into rental properties because I wanted to create some streams of cash that takes care of my bills, so my business can breathe. You know what I mean? So when I have a home or rental property, I put a tenant in there, rent it out, and in turn, that person or whatever pays for my mortgage, and the net that I get every month when everything and all those bills are paid off are is cash flow. So these rental properties, these homes that I use, would be considered assets for me. And anything left after that or whatever, I can use and pay for certain bills, so my business can breathe, and I can sit and be creative and thoughtful enough or whatever to try to create more streams and revenue of cash, so I can have more time. Your time is an asset because you can't get it back depending on how you use it. It could also be a liability, like I said before, if you're actually, wasting time or sleeping around a whole lot. So assets and liabilities, are very different, but an asset is something that you own or your business own that can create, a future economic benefit or future leverage into something more valuable than money later. And a liability is the complete opposite. They're expenses, you know. They're leeches. They're people. They're snakes. They're people who drain you. Those are liabilities.